Borderlands. Borderlands. Uh, I wanted to talk about some PS4 games that I told you guys that I like a lot of games on the PS4 system. Um, so I wanted to share with you guys some of the games that I played on the PS4 system. So, uh, like I said before, PS3 is the most funnest one to me. And if I had a PS2 and I had a nostalgia with that one, I'd probably be with that one because, like I said in the previous video, the PS2 was the first video machine. It was the first system in the house, but I was getting that from Renter Center, and then I ended up getting a GameCube later. And then my kids was little. I think when they kept shutting the door, I think it just didn't read. So that was the first official game system that we actually bought before we bought the PS3, which we originally was supposed to buy the Xbox 360 because that's what we went in there to get, but we didn't get it because that's when the Xbox 360 was on fire, and PlayStation 3, there was only two of them left in this thing in at Walmart too. So I told you that in the previous videos, but there are a few games. Well, no, there are a lot of games I played on the the PS4. Now, I think it was like maybe it was 2008. Had to be 2008. I was working in the back of this building because that building that I was working in at my shop is torn down now. And we were back there doing a bunch of rework. So we had to get a bunch of stuff done because, Sunday you make double time. So we was making double time. At that time, I was in my, I think, I don't know. I know I was in my 50s, I think. Or maybe it was early 50s. I met Todd. Todd's this guy's, he was back there. He was just he's like, he always like smile and, he talk about cars and everything like that. Well, I got to know him and everything. And he always said, "Hey, what's up, Vic?" And then he's just a cool dude, And I was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And just small talk because he was working Sunday. And when I got to know him, he was getting ready to get married. Now, he's been married for about 10, 11 years now. And I think Todd's like maybe 41 or 42 now. But when I met him, he was in his, I think he was maybe late 20s or early 30s, maybe late 20s or something like that. But anyway, he was on break. And I didn't know him that well, but all those Sundays we was working, how you get to work with people, all those Sundays, you just, he was welding and I was doing a bunch of work, and it was, me and my friend Donald was doing a bunch of work, and we just had to get a lot of stuff done at that shop, and there was a lot of Sundays available, and I was still paying child support. So it was in the break room, and he was in break. He goes, "Hey, Vic," and he reminds me of he reminds me of Robin Williams. It's just the way he acts, man. He's the way he smiles. And I walked by and said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, because we got, how you get to know people." He was talking about video games, and I bought me a car, and he was into cars, and he was talking about the car that I bought, that they was gonna make a prototype of that and see if it was gonna work. It was like a high end kind of, but they never, Chrysler never made it. So anyway, we started talking about video games. He's a PC guy and he's an Xbox guy. So he was like, "Vic, you ever heard of Borderlands?" And I was like, "Borderlands? Not really." And I was getting ready to go sit down in the break room, and I looked down at him because he goes, "Check it out." And he says, "Let me pull it up for you." And he pulled it up on his phone. And I was standing there looking down. He was sitting down, and I was looking down. And I was like, he goes, "Don't let the graphics fool you, Vic." That's just how he talks. "Don't let the graphics fool you, Vic." He says, "Man," he goes, "it's, I forgot what he said, what type of graphics it was." And I was like, I remember going like this, like, wow. And I ain't gonna lie, I was not, he kept telling me about the game, and he was showing me clap track and all that. And I was like, wow, man, that's different, And it stuck with me. So I decided to get the game maybe, I think, a few months later, because, we was working all those Sundays. And at that time, Todd has been married, you understand, for like 12 years now. But he was getting ready to get married, so he's working all that overtime, working on his wedding. And so he turned me on to Borderlands. So what happened was I bought Borderlands, And I started playing it, and I was like, wow, this game is different. It took a while for me to get used to Borderlands because I was not used to that, the way that it looked so cartoonish and everything. And it's just, it was so different. And yeah, obviously, man, this is a PS4. This is a PS4 version, and I know that I think it's for both systems. The Xbox 360 and Xbox One X or whatever. I think it's for the Xbox as well. So my friend Chuck is like, let's see, Todd is got to be 43. Chuck is about 55. So Chuck is 10 years younger than me. Todd is he's got to be like almost 20 years younger than me. But Todd is the one that turned me on to this game. So when I started playing this game, Chuck see me online, and he chimed in. He goes, "Hey Vic, you want to play together?" I said, "You can play together on this?" He goes, "Yeah." And I remember Todd had told me that you could play together on this, right? So I started playing with Chuck, and Chuck had already played. Chuck's one of those guys. He's a video game guy. He loves playing video. Like I like working out and staying fit. Chuck, he's a video game guy. He loves to play video games. That's his hobby. So, and we go see movies together. So I started playing with him. He started taking me through these games, man, and we beat this game together. And then we turned around and we beat this game together. And we beat both games. And at this point, I done fell in love with Borderlands. But it was Chuck that got me through all those things, because I was like, "Chuck, what's this?" He goes, "Go over here, Vic, go over there." And it's so cool to play with somebody that has patience with you when you're not that good. But I ain't gonna lie, I had some fun with both these games. I beat both these games. I beat both these games with Chuck, both of them, with my buddy Chuck. But it was Todd that turned me on to these games. Yep, it was Todd that turned me on to these games. And then I ended up playing Borderlands 3, and I liked it, but then there were some elements in here that I didn't care for, and I'm not gonna get into specifics, but I never did complete this game. And I did like it when I did play it, but I asked Chuck to help me, and Chuck said he didn't like the game. Chuck liked these games, but then he didn't like this game, so I couldn't get him to play with me. So I played by myself. I tried to play with some people online, and they was kind of, I didn't get into, playing with some people. You didn't talk or anything on there. You just play with people online. But I did remember playing this game, and I did remember liking it. But these right here is the ones that I have fond memories with. So in spite of the fact that I love, my PS, I like the games on the, hope that's in focus. I like the games on the, the PS3. I did enjoy these games. I really did. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really enjoyed this game. Now, this is an indie game to me, and I have not completed, but I have played it. And this is just a cute game, and it's Kena Bridge of Spirit. Kena Bridge of Spirit. I love this game, you guys. I really do. I'm not done with it at all. I have no reason to get on front of this camera and tell you I beat it, because I haven't. But this is a really cool game, man. God, this game is so good. I want to share something at the end of this. But anyway, this is my PS4, because I told you I was going to tell you some guys about some games folks about games on the PS4. But anyway, Kena. I love this game. I think this game is these guys, the two guys that developed this, I think were brothers. They ended up getting an award for a new game or something like that. It was just a small indie, but I think these are two indie guys, but this is a great game. And what gets me is I gotta stop doing this. I think I ended up getting this for the PS5 because I just wanted the graphics to be much better, but this looked good on my PS4 Pro. So that's just something I need to stop doing. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, stay with me. A game that Sony give up on. Now, maybe some of you guys might not like this, ladies and gentlemen, might not like this. But, man, I don't know why. I don't know why, man, but Order of 1886, man. I love this game. And I know I might be in the minority of this thing, man, but this is, God, I love this game. I know a lot of people's like, oh, I don't know. It's something about this game, man. I have not beat it. The area that I was at, I was on top of something, and I was fighting something. And it's been a while, but I need to complete this game. And, you know, Sony just threw the towel in on this one. You know another one that Sony threw the towel in on? And that one, I honestly, for some reason, I tried to get into it. My buddy Chuck liked it, and that's Days Gone. Days Gone, I tried to play it. I tried to get into it. I had problems with the motorcycle, I ain't gonna lie. And then I had to stop, and I had to fix the motorcycle, which I thought was pretty cool, but for some reason, I just could not. And I remember playing that game saying, I wish I could like this game. Now, I can't say I don't like that game. I just think I couldn't get into it. But I think that game had a lot of potential. But again, now a lot of people like Days Gone. But what I did like about Days Gone, I liked the two guys. They looked rough and scruffy, and they were bikers and stuff like that. And it was like, man, these guys, man, I was like, I think these, you know, and then it's just I wanted to like that game. But I think that Sony threw the towel in on that game because they just felt like they didn't do as good as, you know, Sony got this thing like, it has to be like super top tier, make money wise, but that game didn't do that bad. And a lot of people would love to see a Days Gone too. But the Order of 1886, I think if Sony would have just tried to make a second game to this game, improve upon this, I think this was one of Sony's PS4 launch titles that didn't do well. And I think they invested so much in the graphics, but I don't know why. But I ain't gonna lie, I love this game. I really do. The Order of 1886 is one of those games where I just think Sony just threw the towel in. You know, they just give up on it. You know, I just think it's one of those games that it'd be nice if Sony could, you know, go back to it. Last but not least, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on things. I just, have you guys been looking at stuff, man, on like, I come home and I have a long days at work, and, you know, I come home and, you know, I watch YouTube more than anything. But, you know, I like a lot of homemade guys and girls that has their platform. But, you know, EA wanting to put commercials in on their games. I'm like, seriously, really? You're literally gonna have commercials inserted in your video game. And then I hear about, you know, Microsoft selling off all those you know, companies that they just bought. They dropped $70 billion on buying Activision, Blizzard, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there going, man, you guys are just, I don't know, man. For me, I just think they're desperate. I really are. I think they're desperate. I just think they lost their way. I really do. I don't know about y'all. I just think they lost their way because I get off work sometime, man. I work 9-10 hours a day, man. I come home, I got to pump some iron, man. I got to fix dinner. I got to pack my lunch. I got to clean my kitty litter every other day. And I just was looking at all that stuff. I was like, my God, man. The PS2 and the PS3 era was the golden era, man. Because I think that I just don't, I mean, it, you know, I bought my son, my oldest son a PS5 because he was trying to save up money to get something that was pretty big. And he's like, Dad, I can't do anything because he has to watch all his money just a certain way because he's trying to get something that I'm really, I don't blame him. I'd be happy too. I would tighten up everything. And I said, well, you know what? I'll go out and get you a PS5. So I bought him a PS5 and I went and got him, you know, Final Fantasy Rebirth. And then I come home, I turn on YouTube, man. I think it was Clownfish TV or something like that. Said something about, and on them sites, man, it was talking about Square Enix's, you know, wanting to put all their games on all platforms. Now I just happened to look and I was like, wow, man. I was like, you know what? You know, Sony's giving everybody this big chunk of money so they can have that game exclusive. But I think Square Enix probably is like, you know, we could have made gangster money if we would have put that on. Can you imagine if they put that on PC, Xbox, and Sony? You know, so now they're trying to get out of that with Sony to get so they can, you know, sell all their games, you know, to all these, you know, these companies. And I remember saying to myself, you know, that does make a lot of sense. You know, it really does make a lot of sense. I see your point. But at the end of the day, you guys, I'm asking you, don't you think that some of these companies are just downright getting desperate? There's got to be something, you know, EA wanting to make games, but they want to insert commercials on the game. So that means while you're getting into a video game, you got to wait till that commercial goes through. Or when you upload the video, I don't know how they're going to do it. If you download the video and you open it up, you put it in there, you download or whatever, then they're going to play all these commercials before the game starts. You know, I don't know about these newer people out here because a lot of people are in their 30s. The 30 people that are in their 30s maybe so, but the people in their 40s, late 40s and early 50s, man, they probably sitting there going, "Come on, man, you're gonna have to like, you know, I don't think the consumers are not gonna be happy with a lot of that stuff." So I'm just shooting this out there. I just feel like they're just getting desperate. You know, I just think that, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of people out there like us who's going to have a library of games. Like, I mean, I haven't beat this game. I haven't beat this game. So I don't really need those newer games. I don't need to buy those games at all. And another thing, how much time you have on your hands? You know, last time I checked, you know, y'all, me, I got to pick and choose, you know. When I get off work, sometimes I work 9 hours, sometimes I work 10. Now they're cutting back on overtime so I can come back. I'll get home early so I can work out a little earlier. I can do things a little earlier because that time's backing up. But I just feel like, you know, how much time do you have on your hands that you can, you know, come home and do stuff? You know, like, I'll give you this real quick. Okay, I start work at 6:15. I get off work anywhere between 2:30 to 4:30. Then when I get off work, I come home. And then I got to change into my gym clothes. I work out Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay? So that means I have Monday and Wednesday off. So that means when I have Monday and Wednesday off, I do cardio. When it's nice outside, I take walks. When it's nice outside, I got a beautiful bike path in my neighborhood, so I go on the bike path, and I'm out there just riding the bike, just Mother Nature and all that kind of stuff. Then when you get home, either you got a show you want to watch, or you want to play a video game. And the problem with me not getting these video games done, and I'm going to tell you this straight up because I play video games at 8 o'clock at night like a big dummy. Every time. And I'm going to say this, to be honest with you, like a big dummy. And I say to myself, I said, Vic, you should not play that game at 8 o'clock. Because you know damn well if you get stuck and you get into that game. And I always say to myself, nah, you know what? I'm going to play that game for like 40 minutes, man. I'm going to put it down. Next thing I know, I'm getting in the game, and then I look up at the clock, and the clock, I know you guys done it before. You get into a game, and time just flies. Well, I like to get up at 3:15 in the morning because I do a series of stomach crunches and a bunch of push-ups, and then I read some scriptures before I walk out the door. I drink a cup of coffee in the dark, and I look at my phone, and I read some scriptures. That's just what I do in the morning. So when I play these video games late at night, I always say to myself, you need to really start playing a video game at 6 o'clock. That way you can play from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock on your day off. So I'm asking you guys, how much time do you think you have? You know, a lot of us got a life, man. I mean, you know, I'm not putting video games down. I'm not putting anything down. But I'm like, by the time you get done with your whole day, like my buddy Chuck, he gets off work, he goes home, he got a dog, I have a cat. He goes home, he lets his dog out, he cuts his backyard. Chuck grills, you know, he likes to eat stuff. I'm mostly vegan. I eat meat like twice a week. I'm mostly vegetables. Chuck put some hamburgers on the grill. He likes to drink him a Bud Light, or he'll throw a steak on, and then he literally goes in and that's what he does. He plays video games. So that's why Chuck can blow through those video games. Because when I met Chuck, he didn't want to turn me on to a lot of stuff. Just like Todd turned me on to the Borderlands thing. Anyway, guys, I always go over 20 minutes. I really try to keep it short, but I really appreciate you guys staying with me in some of these videos. I kind of noticed that you do watch them, but I don't want to make them this long, but I was just giving you just the whole thing. But I was just like, how much time do a lot of us have? You know what I'm saying? Because I like playing video games. I should, you know, Monday and Wednesday, like when it's raining outside or it's wintertime or something like that. Yeah, wintertime, you can absorb a lot of stuff. But man, I'll tell you what, when it's nice outside, you know, you want to take walks like me, or I want to ride my bike, or, you know, I got a truck I wash, and I got a car in the garage I wash every now and then, take it for a spin. It's just, you know, I don't like turn down the overtime and stuff like that. It's just, you know, just how much time do you have, you know, to get all that stuff in, you know what I mean? So, like right now, I could play a video game, but if I play a video game right now at 8:30 at night, I know once I get into it, I won't be going to bed till 11 o'clock, and then I'll wake up at 3 something, and I'll be like, oh my God, man, this really sucks, and I'm at work, like I can't try to drink a bunch of coffee and all that. I just get so waiting on that second wind to kick in because you're dragging ass at work, you know, pardon my French. I'm like, damn, will you kick in second engine? People come by, what's wrong, man? What's going on, man? You look a little tired. I am. Because my dumb ass stayed up last night playing this video game, you know, pardon my French, but I'm like, Vic, man, you got to stop that, man. Start playing those video games at 6 o'clock in the evening. Play from 6 to 8, man. Come on, man. Man. Anyway, God bless. Take care. And we'll catch you next video. We'll see you.